get Pokemon because we always do big Pokemon giveaways when it comes to Christmas time to help some people. Speaking of Pokemon, by the way, one of the best Jigglypuffs that we have in the business right now, BassMage, is up here on PS2.
Yeah, and Puff, you know, being kind of a much more prominent character now that online is kind of taking center stage a bit. And BassMage has always been one of the best to do it. Regarded as the best Puff to some, you know, and we can see it right here already. The dare loops coming out right here. I feel like there's no other Puff out there that has optimized combos as hard as BassMage has. Already 84 on Yoshi of all characters.
Yep, 100% agree with that. Now, Yoshi is a character that's so good at boxing out people who like to juggle a whole lot. You got that Nair, you got you got some of the escape options. I really like the movement as well from Nobishin, kind of just dipping around, or excuse me, Slade, just like dipping around, avoiding a lot of this pressure. But BassMage, if BassMage can just catch on some of the jumps or get caught going for a forward smash trying to read a defensive option, that's going to be an up smash KO for Slade.
Yeah, I have heard the name Slade before, so we might be getting a little bit deeper into pools thus far.
Oh, I think we definitely are at this point.
Yeah. Being able to hold your own against a player like BassMage especially is great. I like the fact that my man has not been jumping too much. Like, a lot of the things is that you're probably going to be punishing Puff most of the time for falling on top of you, since that is how she's going to be forcing most of her damage upon you right there. And Yoshi has no shortage of moves that can kind of scoop up, really. Up tilt is fantastic, F tilt is fantastic, and Yoshi has no trouble keeping up with Puff's airspeed whatsoever.
Exactly. This is why, you know, in the matchups that Jigglypuff's regard is difficult, Yoshi's up there. You got the Yoshi, Yoshi, Ike amongst a couple, really just able to keep Jigglypuff from going at that 45-degree angle approach that Jiggs wants to do with that Nair, with that pressure. But Slade has just been dipping, dodging around, and putting out the hitboxes in the right spots to avoid that. It's pretty much, I think, how this game is going to go. It's going to be on how does BassMage read tech options. Is BassMage able to get some of those sleeps to get to land a rest? But you see, Slade's not really giving that opportunity, always staying on the move and in the air to avoid being put into a tech chase situation.
Yeah, I like how ever mobile Slade has really been thus far. Like, you really don't want Puff to pin you down a little bit too hard. I feel like a character like Yoshi is perfect for staying mobile around Puff because given how quick he is and how great his aerial drift is, it can really make it very, very difficult to pinpoint where exactly he's going to land. I feel like unless we see a bunch of error from Slade on part of how he lands back on stage a lot of the time after BassMage gets his starting hits, this game is going to be his. But that being said, BassMage just sticking in there, patrolling under these platforms to try and catch whatever landings he can. That being said, though, nice little conversion right there. Going to be taking the stock right there for Slade.
Yeah, it's such a good kill option between that up air and the back air as well. Just being able to consistently trade. And I like the idea of that right there because you've, like, for BassMage, you've regularly been going for a fair into follow-up fair, follow-up nair, or even dash attack. So you expect the air dodge in at that point to try to get that forward smash. But all right, I don't see that used too often, but I really like the way Slade used that on landing. That was actually a really smart option right there. I'm surprised that BassMage hasn't kind of gotten a beat. Actually, no, it's kind of hard to track. Slade has consistently been using that down B to get through the platform, but there's that up tilt you talked about to get the KO.
Yeah, Puff up tilt being one of her more stronger moves. She does have some pretty prominent kill moves. Like, I will not sleep on any of Puff's moves. Like, character's got a lot more strength than you'd anticipate. And we're seeing some dare conversions right here from BassMage, getting a pretty good amount of damage onto Slade. Just keeping it relatively even. This is kind of the top clear factor right here coming into play. Oh my!
Because of the low percentage, Slade was able to mash to like, as if the life depended on it, because it did, to get out of there fast enough to prevent not only a charge for the forward smash. If Slade read that was an up smash and possibly a KO.
Okay, right there. And we're definitely seeing Slade, like, know what his kill tool here is going to be. Like, a good, well-placed back air or an up air high up is going to be nice. I'm surprised we haven't seen Slade land with, that might be it, though. Yeah, really. Yoshi back air being one of his most powerful kill tools right there. And that's going to be taking game one. This could be a pretty potential upset to happen in bracket pretty early.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think, like, honestly, not only is the matchup working out well for Slade, but also just like the overall defense, like just the understanding of how to deal with that matchup really was just all in Slade's favor in terms of getting out of bad situations. BassMage still kept it extremely close though, and really just the big thing was he was only really able to capitalize on getting like a few hits here and there, which is kind of like Jigglypuff's toolkit, but couldn't really get those tech chases. That's a big thing that Jigglypuff thrive on, and the offstage gameplay. Slade was never really off stage because he just kept avoiding BassMage. So
he kept going high every single time. My man went way, way far above the stage to where a point where BassMage really couldn't chase. Like, Puff's pretty much danger zone is low or to the middle of the stage, depending on where you're coming. If you go super duper high, there's really no way that Puff is going to be able to chase you that high. And I think that's what Slade is using the best to his favor right now. Yep. He's staying mobile. He's not letting himself get chased down at all by BassMage, and he's being able to, he'll take a few damage from these trades here or there, but he will still be able to get it overall, just given how many attempts BassMage has to take to try and punish him, only to potentially maybe whiff and then leave an opening for Slade to hop in there.
Yeah, and also I think a big part of why that happened was because of PS2. Like, not only was Slade able to dip, dodge around a lot, that's an amazing stage for Yoshi in general, but because of the room that Slade had to work with, especially those high-end recoveries, really was able to kind of play around a lot of what Bass was going for. And I think that was really a bit of a detriment to Bass in that matchup. So I anticipate that reason why we're waiting right now is because we're seeing a stage switch. I don't think we see a run back to PS2. In my opinion, it doesn't make sense. Granted, it's not like Bass was playing bad. It's just that I think a slightly small, not a super small, like I don't think Smashville works, but I think something like maybe a small battlefield where sure you got the double platform layout, but you have less room to work with overall, that might help close the gap more often. And you can look for a bit more of those tech chase platforms things that you might have been trying to hunt, but you couldn't because the stage was a little bit too wide on PS2.
Yeah, I think probably a smaller stage would probably be like Smashville or something would be a lot better for BassMage just to be able to catch on to Slade. It seems that Slade is very, very rooted within his game plan of staying super duper mobile and using Yoshi's amazing aerial drift to kind of aid him in a lot of the attacks. Also, we're seeing a little bit of scared defensive play, I feel like, out of BassMage. A lot of air dodges to get himself out of very, very hairy situations right there. I think the PS2 platforms were perfect for Slade to get a potential extension off of them as well. It didn't look like BassMage, like once Yoshi gets one hit on Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff really doesn't have the airspeed to kind of get out of there in time, especially just given her shape and how Slade was just able to chase. So I don't know. Yeah. It looked pretty scary, that matchup, honestly.
Yeah, and really just like it's just one of those things that's just so difficult to deal with, but something that has been difficult to deal with for us pretty much the whole beginning of this day was finding somebody to win the first giveaway. And we have our first winner. That goes to Spy or You, because they dropped that big $50 donation, right. Had a tremendous amount of entries, and actually ended up taking the first giveaway. So congratulations on winning the first set of the giveaway, the Cloud X earbuds, sponsored by HyperX, coming through with those Cloud earbuds. Congratulations, hope you enjoy them. And that is not the only one. We have more giveaways going around. Matter of fact, we have the next one in 10 minutes. It's every 30 minutes we're giving them away, and the next one is going to be from Gamer Subs. It is going to be a $50 gift card towards Gamer Subs, so you can get yourself some of that energy drink, get yourself in there. But also remember, the big thing here is that not only do these prizes, they're kind of set up to help give incentive, but the main goal at the end of the day is helping out those children's hospitals with that gear. And also, I hope that some of them are watching right now, getting to see some of these great matches. It's not too often when you get to see Jigglypuff to begin with, but just this matchup as a whole, really you only see this in this realm. So yeah.
No kidding. So, hope everybody who's been watching the stream has been enjoying thus far, though. Like I said, like AJ said before, the Games for Love is really just for the kids out there, who are dealing with those, kind of not so fortunate situations in hospitals right now where they need a little bit of distraction. When you're feeling down, video games have always been a great thing to distract from that. And some of my fondest childhood memories are from playing video games. So, if you want to help out, the future of the entire world and potentially maybe another big Smash player, with those games, they can, get their grind on in that hospital. So, keep donating, keep helping them out.
For anybody, because I'm paying attention to chat. I see y'all. For one, Miley, we're giving away these giveaways every 30 minutes. For every donation that you enter, every dollar goes towards, in that 10-minute bracket, a chance to win that giveaway. And of course, all of the donations go towards the Children's Hospital. And then I saw Muhammad, we're getting to the matches. we ain't got no control over these people. They're picking their stages right now, getting ready to figure out the next one. Because really, it like this is a make or break moment in this matchup. This is why we pointed it out. PS2 was a detriment to, in my opinion, in my view, to BassMage in that last matchup. So, with how good Slade's defense is, how many platforms do you give? Do you go to something that has no platforms? Do you go to something that's smaller and be willing to box with Slade more often? That's the things that Bass has to weigh right now. And we're going to see where that happens to go. It seems like possibly even maybe a character change. I don't think we're going to see a character change. But yeah, I'm 100% banking on a stage switch. I don't think we're running it back to PS2 whatsoever. That's in my view. But we're getting into game 2 right now. And we're going to see Slade up currently game number 1, and we're going to be running it into Battlefield.
Interesting. Okay. I think this is another good stage for Yoshi as well, just given how he can catch landings on the platforms quite nicely, and he can also use the platforms to kind of extend his combo game. But I think Puff also can use that to her advantage as well, depending on how this goes. So we're going to see the adaptations that BassMage can make. I don't really know what they were doing particularly wrong. I feel like they were just doing their best to chase down Slade as much as they can. And I think the important thing is just trying to establish a lead and holding on to it. It can be quite hard against Yoshi, though, considering how his combo game is and how much damage he can output so quickly.
That's the big thing, is that it's not so much that Bass was doing a lot wrong, it's just Slade was just doing it right, like constantly, like always fading away, using these wavelands on the platform to kind of distance just enough that if Bass decides to commit to a fair or nair, most likely it's gonna miss, or Slade is gonna get a positive trade out of it. And like, it's hard to commit to jumping too much when you're, you know, a character that is based entirely around like going for good anti-airs and such with that up smash. And you see Slade looking for the answers right now, and that nair is actually gonna push. That's 2 jumps down. You might see a commitment. I like the idea to go off stage like that after those 2 jumps. Pretty much Bass had to go into a certain situation, but no, the trade doesn't work in favor of Bass as well. Slade walks away with the stock after that, but the backer is gonna close it out, and we're already down to 1 stock, down at least a stock apiece, down to 2 stocks.
Yeah, good trade-off right there for BassMage to clean it up, you know, before it got a little bit messy. We saw last game how Slade was able to run away with the lead pretty quickly, and I think closing that gap as quickly as possible, especially in a matchup like this where Puff kind of has to chase down, you know. Yeah. Puff doesn't really have any projectiles at her disposal, so and the way that Slade has been playing around these platforms as well, he knows that one link for BassMage can lead into a lot of damage, just given how fantastic his combo game is. And we're seeing...
We just saw the problem too. Like, BassMage had the starter. BassMage had the down air to the fair, which normally would lead to a reading a jump or possibly getting a tech chase situation. Slade has the double jump armor, so it just gets away. There it is again. So, like, usually Jigglypuff's biggest strengths, or one of the biggest strengths, is going off stage, hunting down these jumps. And there's just so many things that Yoshi could do to stop that. It's so frustrating to deal with.
And we're seeing right now BassMage actually taking a bit of a lead here, doing a lot better at kind of at least trying to anticipate where Slade is going to land, you know. Eventually Yoshi is going to have to touch base with the ground at some point, and I like how BassMage has just been hunting for those openings continuously, not giving up despite how much they have to kind of chase down Slade. And it also seems like Slade has found a pattern in which he's landing. It seems like BassMage is slowly starting to catch on to that.
I'm glad you pointed that out too, because I actually just started to see that myself. Like, Slade had, like, these wavelands work very well. I actually like that, like, waiting a second, trying to wait for an air, not an air dodge, a spot dodge to punish or possibly jump away with that up smash. But, you know, before, Slade would just kind of, like, go to this platform, camp it, wait for the approach, and then punish. BassMage is like, oh, well, if I just wait here, if I wait back for a second, I can react to you throwing out too many hitboxes, and there it is right there. Realizing that time Slade was going to go off the platform and netting the KO.
And I love BassMage using these bears center stage to kind of bait Slade in. He's noticed, I think he's caught on fully at this point as to Slade's landing patterns, which is land on the platform, wave land a little bit, and try to hit something center stage. Not going to be an SD right there. Luckily for BassMage right there. I like the Yoshi bomber attempt right there, just quickly trying to get to the ledge to kind of beat Puff out just a little bit. Yep, Slade is going to have to clean this up.
if you happen to catch one of the pounds too that didn't snap the ledge, you just take out that KO. And I like that up smash in that position. You just go for a trade potentially. You're in center stage. You're not going to get pushed off stage. If you get hit by a nair, you're fine. And nets the KO. Now BassMage kind of, again, holding back, just waiting and deciding to punish post-commitment to movement rather than just trying to push the initiative. Because when you go in too often against somebody who's got a good Yoshi like this, you're going to take so much damage off of something like just one F tilt.
We've also seen BassMage kiting in Slade a little bit more, kind of forcing them to start their approach right there and using Jigglypuff's amazing disjoints to kind of counterattack them. That being said, this is a very scary place for BassMage to be. You do not want to be above Yoshi, just given how quickly he can encroach the airspace super duper quickly. Now this is looking a lot scarier because Yoshi might be living for a little bit longer, depending on what move is thrown out, but BassMage is pretty much at kill percent at this point for a big hit from Yoshi.
Yeah, like if oh, there it is. You gotta just fade away and get that forward smash. You know, you saw BassMage go in a second ago trying to read maybe an egg toss and try and get that dash attack, got away scot-free. And then after that, doing the same thing that BassMage was doing with those back airs as a bait, decided to use the forward smash. You see right here, looking for the punish, and then kind of just fading in, baiting with the back air, making it look like, oh, I'm an end lag, or I might try to dash attack again because I just did it a second ago. But that time, putting the forward smash out. Could have been costly if it was a whiff, and that would have probably netted Slade the game. But instead, we're going to game number 3.
Yeah, my man did the Slade classic, it seems, which is Waveland on platform and then try to do an aerial immediately. You know, sometimes you can't get caught up too hard in your movement. You gotta moderate yourself just a little bit. And I don't know if Nair was the right area to go down with. It seems like BassMage has been very, very conscious of when Slade is going to start approaching the center stage at this point, so BassMage has been kind of positioning himself a little bit just in the middle of the stage, under the far platform, depending on where Slade is. And every single time, Slade has done Waveland on a platform and then jump off, do an aerial or something like that. And almost more consistently now, BassMage has been able to call that out with either an F smash or a bear every single time. So I think Slade's going to change up the movement a little bit, you know?
You know what's cool about that situation too is that, you know, prior, the last KO that was netted was the back air on a bait. So it's like, oh, here's a bait and switch. You think I'm going to go for it again, and then that time you go for a trade with a different aerial instead you get hit with the forward smash. It's such, like, it's really kind of like a toss-up, just guessing right there. Like, that's all I'll read, but it was a very smart, like, it was a little bit of conditioning involved as well, and it was very smart the way they did that. I am looking forward to see the adjustments because I agree. I'm interested to see how Slade changes up the landings this time because BassMage really kind of caught on to that in that last game.
Yeah, and we're, you know, off the gate already, you know, we've seen Slade come out pretty hard throughout the starts of a lot of these games, but BassMage's conversion off a single hit is insane. Like, my man has been able to steal like 30% per string he's been trying to do, even after 2 hits. That being said, there's a little bit of a rest here. I like the attempt right there because if you wait too long, it's not like Melee where Puff has a whole wake-up animation. My girl just wakes up immediately. Yeah. Alarm clock just goes off in her head, her eyes pop open, and she's ready to go. So I like that punish attempt right there.
Yeah, and you know, BassMage is looking for that soft hit of fair into the rest that isn't confirmed at certain percent windows, and unfortunately just missed. But you're right, like, don't wait too long. It's not like a shield break that could be mashed out of and mashed out pretty quick. But you see now, Slade is actually mixing in some of that command grab on the landing a bit more too. That's something like it was mostly just hitboxes, but now you net in that command grab, and that's gonna make it a bit harder because Bass can't just run up and hold that shield looking for a punish.
And one thing that just happened, I think that Bass has to be very, very conscious of is trying to do an approaching aerial into Yoshi. Yoshi's up smash, if he does shield the attack that's coming at him and you attempt to cross him up, he can hit you on both sides, especially with a character that moves as slowly through the air as Puff. So my man can't even attempt to like whiff anything on shield. He's just kind of has to play this game where he kind of baits Slade in to go for some kind of aerial, then catch him with a disjoint like back air or something like that. Like, it is a very, very slow crawl, and BassMage cannot lose his composure throughout this entire thing.
Yeah, this really is just as cat and mouse as you get because like it's on you flip that you go on the flip side with that. Slade also has to do the same thing. Slade can't hard commit anymore because of the fact that Bass has kind of just been deciding to stay back, put out hitboxes, put up that wall, so, you know, Slade could get punished for approaching too hard. But instead, now Slade is deciding to wait a bit and decide on a second approach maybe. It's like, okay, I will fake out the approach this time. And that time, up smashing the other way, probably looking for an aerial to jump over, but not going to get the trade, and that's going to be BassMage taking the first lead here in Game 3.
Ooh, okay.
That is what I would have said.
Yeah, that excellent nair coming out from Slade right there. Like I said, neither of these guys have been letting themselves bleed for a little too long. Like, they've been able to even up the comebacks almost immediately, and I feel like this is going to be a game that is very dictated by who has the lead, or just by individual stock counts. We'll have matchups where stocks just get erased like this or like that, but in this matchup in particular, both of these players seem to be very, very conscious of the risk/reward into getting into each other, because they are going to both get mixed if they do make one mistake. Yeah. And
like this whole match is just like a testament to good defense. Like, I know a lot of times people will look at this match and they go, "Oh, everybody's mashing," but like, no, it's calculated risks, because you have to put these hitboxes out in anticipation somebody might approach, and BassMage pulling out a little bit of movement on like the last second too to try and throw off the Slade. But like, you have to set up accordingly in a way that makes your opponent finally bite the bullet. They finally decide to go in the wrong position, and that leads to a KO. Luckily for Slade, not gonna die right there, but that's the jump commitment. However, still having the up B, able to get back in.
I haven't seen Dare come out like at all from Slade, and I feel like it's such an active hitbox, and you can retain Yoshi's mobility while you do it. It's a little bit better as a landing mix-up, because it's very, very clear that BassMage is trying to catch a landing most of the time.
I've seen it a few times, but it's like, I think the risk behind it is probably what Slade is thinking. It could work sometimes, but it has that end lag, or it has that longer animation. So when you commit to that, you're likely to get KO'd. And the fact that BassMage didn't die to that, like this,
licked the blast zone.
And that up smash is slept on. Like, that is actually, it's got some solid range, it's got good KO potential, and that caught off guard Slade. So that's actually be again BassMage taking the lead.
Yeah, and we're going to see BassMage hold this lead, like not really overcommit outside of center stage pretty much at all. This conversion right here is already so much damage. It seems like Slade has lost a little bit of their movement.
I'm so glad that Slade decided to try and do that again. It missed the second time, but Slade went for that at the the second stock of the first game. You didn't pull it out again for a while, because you don't want to use those mix-ups too often. That's one of your sneaky kills. But BassMage sneaking by with that basically 6 jump that is that air dodge, kind of similar to Ness. But there's the commitment finally. Slade finding the forward smash, and now we're down to last stock apiece. Who's going to take it? Actually getting extra damage after landing the star, and Slade is just continuing this, looking for the landing, but BassMage finally getting away, and we are back to an even game.
Yeah, just like that. Like, both Yoshi and Puff have some pretty lethal combo game, like a little bit on each other as well. We're seeing BassMage now nearing these very, very scary percents where one good smash attack, he's got to watch his landings. And likewise, both of these players really have to be managing the defensive habits well. This is the stuff of top competitors right here. This is where you have to keep your composure, because if you lose it and just risk one thing, it's going to be curtains for you.
I'm losing my composure right now. I'm getting sweaty palm from like when you're getting nervous in bracket. Like, I wasn't even the one playing, but that time Slade finally catching the one defensive mistake after running over and over and over again, trying to get away from it, and that ended up leading to the KO for Slade. What an amazing 3-set game. And also just want to point out really quick, because the timer had already passed 8 o'clock, we are currently in the next giveaway for the $50 Gamer Subs gift card. Like we pointed out before, I'm going to run that link back in chat for you really quick as we talk about this post game. But just want to make sure that you take a look at that so you get a chance to get into that giveaway. But what a set, Fang. Like,
yeah, for real. Slade played that super duper well, I feel like. Yeah, Jigglypuff's air dodge having one of the highest end lags, because I believe air dodge end lag is based on how far the air dodge carries you. So the longer you go with the air dodge, the longer it'll take to get out of it. And Puff's air dodge has quite a bit of generous length to it. So Puff can't really act out of it quickly. So while it is a good tool against most characters who really can't follow up off of it, Yoshi is super speedy in the air. So my man Slade was just able to catch with that up air really nicely before BassMage had really a chance to act out of it. Yoshi can chase in the air so well. He can force so many 50-50s in situations where you were almost forced to air dodge a lot of the time. And that's what can make that matchup so scary. And Slade going to be taking a pretty big upset over BassMage right